Hey guys, this is DPO 427 here to bring you another episode of the Watchtower. And it's been a while, but we have Mr. Scotty Mac back on the show.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Sweet. So this time around, what we're going to talk about is Titans Season 2, now that it's all wrapped up. So before we get into the nitty-gritty, for all of you guys who haven't seen Titans Season 2, or even Season 1 at this point, I mean, that's your own damn fault at this point. So, but we're going to get into some stuff. And if you don't want to be spoiled, this is your disclaimer. Tune out now or
Ever.
Be spoiled. Whatever. So there we go. So let's just get into it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over general thoughts of the series, the second season, that is, characters, like how they were developed, new characters, how they were brought in, things we liked, things we didn't like, what we could have done better, and compared it to the first season. So let's start with some general thoughts. And how would you compare this to season 1, Scotty?
Well, so the one thing we have to understand is that season 2 is really like the last episode of season 1 and then season 2, right? So let's at least let's separate those for a minute. So the real ending of season 1, I felt was actually really well done. Trigon was supposed to be this like crazy uber big bad. They ended up kind of minimizing him a little bit, but I guess if he were his regular crazy self, there was zero chance that Rachel and her current ability could have ever taken him out. So they kind of had to balance that out a bit. But I kind of liked how it felt. Like it was a good feeling. Everyone was kind of like, yeah, we can do this. Let's look after the kids. Like it was a really good, warm, fuzzy feeling. And they could have and should have, in my opinion, ended the season 1 on that episode.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I see what you mean.
Right?
So you're saying that season 1 should have been, what was it, 12 episodes? Basically?
Yeah, they should have contained this extra episode. And for whatever reason they didn't, I don't care. But I think it was a mistake not to. So
basically, and now that you think about it, because the first one was 11 episodes, this one was 13. They could have made them both 12 and it would have been perfect.
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
So I think if they ever go through and release like a box set, they should just retcon it to season 1, episode 12. But I thought it was it ended well. It followed the tone of season 1 very well, and I felt like it wrapped up a bunch of that stuff. It's some really good moments between like Gar and Rachel, and Dick and Rachel, and I think that there were some really good character dynamics there that I really got behind.
Okay.
And so I was on board, and it felt like a really good end to season 1. So season 2.
Out of 10, what would you say? That was season 1. Yeah.
So that's season 1. So I'm like, I'm not even counting that as season 2.
All right.
Because I felt like it was like entirely season 1 tone.
All right. Now season 2.
Okay. So season 2, I feel like it gets started off on the right foot, right? Like, I mean, it starts to feel like, okay, we've got a little bit. Like the first couple episodes felt like they were really building towards something. You kind of had the old guard and the new guard. You were starting to learn a little bit more about sort of why the Titans were formed in the first place, and more importantly, why they broke up, who they were, that sort of thing. And so I really like how they did. I feel like they did a good job with sort of that exploring the backstory stuff. I felt like we got to know the characters well. We understood their motivations, and the performances that were put in were pretty good.
All right. That's fair.
Okay.
So what would you give it out of 10 for season 2?
Oh, you just want the whole thing out of 10?
I mean,
you want to do that now?
Oh my God. I wouldn't go episode by episode, but if you would give a general feeling, how'd you feel? How'd you like season 2 out of 10?
7.5.
That's fair. That's reasonable. Very fair. Yeah. Very fair.
There's like only a couple things I think that happened that prevented me from going like 8.5 solid.
That's fair. You're actually a little bit more optimistic than me. I gave it a 7. There were some episodes where I felt like it really dragged on. It felt really slow.
Yes.
And there was some episodes where it was all action packed. So I felt like there was like a lack of balance there. But a lot of the good like overtook some of the bad. So that's why I feel 7's a fair number. I feel like it was. And season 1 kind of like, it's hard to follow season 1 because season 1 there was a lot of great stuff happening. So like season 1's like an 8 or a 9, like depending on how high you rank it. But anyways, that's how I feel. But it was still pretty good.
So I felt like the middle of season 2 dragged on a lot.
Yeah.
From the middle into, I think it was like maybe 6, 7, 8. I think were the episodes. If I like without looking, I feel like those are the numbers. It might have been
describe the episodes.
Yeah, it was basically like as soon as Dick decided that he was going to punish himself for Jericho's
like
death.
the prison's like
prison thing, and then all the crap that happened with everyone else, and they were all off sort of dirtling and doing their own thing. Like there are some redeeming moments. I kind of like the whole
foreshadowing,
the Starfire foreshadowing stuff, like in her background. That stuff was all really neat. I really liked Rachel's little like foray into the homeless realm. I thought that was a really neat little set of scenes. So like those 3 episodes, there's probably a handful of scenes that I thought were really worthwhile, but the rest of it just felt like crazy filler.
Yeah, no, I was completely on board with the whole, like the same sentiment here, but mainly with like the prison stuff. The only redeeming quality of the prison stuff was basically like him finding his way and what his next step is going to be, right? Which we'll talk about in a second, which was the last episode, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, now, okay, let's get away from that for a little bit. Before we get to episode, like particular episodes, let's talk about characters.
Okay.
From season 1 to season 2, let's talk about the changing of the guard, so to speak. Do you feel like anything has really changed, like from the characters that were in season 1?
Okay, yeah. So I really like how Rachel has grown up from a scared little girl into kind of a lot more confident and still being unsure of her ability to control her powers, but no longer being afraid to try.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was awesome.
So, okay, what type of Raven do you think she is? She's a Raven from like Teen Titans Go or Teen Titans, for example?
Neither.
Okay.
Neither.
Raven.
Yeah, she's more. It's tough, right? Because like she's young, and she comes off as young, whereas all of the Ravens that I know from like the comic books, because in the comic books she's like way older, at least in the old days, right? And so I don't know whether we're talking about, current runs, and as far as super current runs, I'm not up to speed on a bunch of that. I mean, at this point in time, aren't the Titans like Jin and Crush and anyways, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah. So she was always like the one questionable casting choice that I had. Right. She reminds me of like the young Raven, the young timid Raven personality.
Okay.
That came out of Raven in one of the Teen Titans episodes from the initial animated series. Remember when she split off into like a bunch of different colors?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do remember that. So yeah, I see what you're going with that. Yeah. I kind of do see that. I get that. Yeah. So that's that whole young thing coming through. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I feel like she's starting to grow up a little bit. And so I'm interested to see how she turns out next season. Like if they continue on at this trend, and like spoiler alert, I'm hoping. No, I'm not going to totally spoil it at this point. That'd be terrible if it was this early, right? But like, I hope that her decision to go where she does at the end of the season causes her to grow up a lot very quickly, or become a lot more confident in herself and her abilities as a person.
Oh, I have a lot of like, what's the word?
Yeah,
conspiracy talk, or what's the word? Like a lot of tinfoil hat stuff in my head going on about where she's going in the direction.
We'll get to that because I'm gonna go on a mini rant. So we should move on.
let's knock out the characters. Okay, so we did Raven. Well, let's talk about Gar then, since they have that chemistry going on.
Sure. I think he did really well. He grew up a lot. Understood. He really started to like trust the family. Knew where he was. Know why he was there. And really, he's the one that like drinks the Titans Kool-Aid more than anyone else.
Yeah.
Right. I hate to say that he's the mascot because it feels really on the nose.
But he's the mascot.
He's the mascot, right?
Let's be honest here. I mean, there's no one else who wants to be a Titan more than Gar.
100%. Absolutely agree with you. Yeah. And it shows. It shows in all of his abilities. And I think that the turn that they took him on towards the end, I'm not sure how I felt about it. Like, I didn't think there was no need to do that, other than they weren't doing anything else with the character anyway.
Yeah.
But the only thing that I can hope is that experience serves to continue to make him like a little bit troubled.
Yeah. Now, the thing about these two characters in particular, they feed into two of the newer characters that come into this season that, to me, it shows that basically those 4 in particular are kids. And this whole season is about showing how fast they're going to grow up. Right? Yep. Because Gar, he just like shot up like a rocket by the end of the season. And same thing with Rachel, with where she's going. And so we'll talk about the other two when we get to the new characters. But as of the old characters, let's get to this quote unquote adults here. So who do we have? We have Dick, we have Donna, we have Hawk and Dove, and
Cory.
Cory. Okay. So let's go to Dick first, I guess.
Okay. So Dick's the star of the show, right? They took him on his journey. It's fine. I don't know how I feel about him continuing to explore the Bruce Wayne in his mind and using that as his like Deus Ex Machina. Like I'm not sold on that idea. I get what they're trying to do, and they're what they're trying to convey is just like what would Bruce do, and he's continually in this like what would Bruce do mode, and it's what he goes to when he's in crisis and et cetera. But like I don't care.
Right. Like once or twice is enough. And you start being a dead horse too much at that point. So
and it definitely like that horse is dead.
That was also part of the reason why the prison stuff was not like doing it for me, because that was the point where it's just like this is too much already.
See, and I would have been okay if it had just happened in prison. I would have been okay with that because he was fevered and sick and seeing shit, and I would have been totally okay with that.
Yeah. Now,
but by the time they did that, it was overdone.
Yeah, and they could have made it like if they did that the first time, you would think, is Bruce really here? What's going on? Like, is this some like M. Night Shyamalan stuff going on? You know, so
yes.
But anyway,
exactly.
That is what it is. So,
but his new suit's insane. Right. Can I just talk really quickly? So his new suit's great, and what I really really liked, this is what had me, because if they failed at this, the show would have instantly dropped a full point for me. It sounds stupid that this one scene was a big crux, okay? In the final fight where he's fighting off against Deathstroke in the last episode, they actually had him performing Nightwing-esque combat maneuvers.
Right, like the tumbling act and like the Eskrima type of acrobats.
Flipping over around and like spinning kicks and all that sort of shit. It was very Nightwing-esque, very authentic, super on board.
Right. So the whole, and I'm going to say one thing though, like the effects guys really got the Eskrima like electricity to really pop. It looked good. It didn't look cheap. It didn't look overdone like they put way too much of their budget into it. It looked just good enough, like believable, and it looked great. So
absolutely agree.
It was good stuff. All right, so we went over Dick. So spoiler alert, if you didn't realize by now, he's Nightwing. So the last episode's entitled Nightwing. So I wish they showed more of the whole bird thing from the prison section and how that it's clearly obvious that it goes into that, but they should have taken the name from or something.
You know what I would have liked? If he had actually said, "Call me Nightwing."
Yeah, sure.
But not once was he ever referred to as Nightwing. It was just Dick.
Yeah. They're gonna probably do that in the third episode, or the third season. But that's gonna have to do when everyone starts getting code names, right? Like, because Beast Boy is not called Beast Boy yet. Raven is not called Raven yet. So that's why when I figure what's gonna happen.
That makes sense. Okay.
The only people with actual code names are the old Titans. So
yes, okay. Okay, so let's talk quickly then about because I'm leaving all the new ones off. Hawk and Dove. Yeah. How do you feel about them as a pair and their trajectory this season?
They were poopy. I didn't like it.
Yeah,
I wasn't a fan.
Yeah, I love looking at her all day long.
Oh yeah. She's hot.
All day long. Okay, hot as anything. Wears exactly what she needs to get the point across that she's hot and not trying, and it's fantastic. But I like Dove's character. I like her as this kind of like mother hen to the Titans. Like she's sort of the good mom to Dick's bad dad.
Yeah, I get it.
And like I love her in that role. I think it fits really well.
Yeah.
I think Hank's just worthless piece of shit, but I think that he's supposed to be, and so I'm okay with it.
So the thing about the three female quote unquote adults here are that Dove is the only one with her head on straight, basically. And what's her name? Cory is sort of like the wild card. And Donna Troy is sort of like the renegade, right? She's sort of like off doing her own thing.
So, see, I'm not sure I agree with that. So I think that I agree with you. Dove's the one that's got her head on straight. I'm good there. I think Cory is actually just like, she's the wild card. She's entirely, sometimes she's selfish as frig, and sometimes she's like super nice.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, she's the wild card. Yeah,
she's totally all over the place. But I don't think Donna's a renegade per se. She's a little independent.
Okay.
Right? But only because like she's the most experienced next to Dick.
Okay. That's fair. I mean, given their backgrounds too, it makes the most sense, right? Because they come from Justice League members.
Right. Is she like, so she's like the surrogate gender swapped stepdad. That's how I feel about it. You know? She's like, I'm gonna step up and do the job because your dad sucks. So I'm gonna go out and do work now. That's what she feels like to me.
Can we just like go into her whole end of the seasons part now?
I really don't want to.
Yeah, I mean,
I really don't want to. So Cory losing her powers was like a really bullshit move. I don't like how they're setting that up because Cory is supposed to be powerful. She's supposed to be great, and she's supposed to be somebody that they can all lean on. Her losing her powers, I think, is bullshit. Especially the fact that like Blackfire is obviously coming, so we got like the post. You realize I am happier to spoil the potential plot points of season 3 than to discuss Donna Troy. Do you know where this is going? Okay, so
I know where this is going.
Yeah. So Blackfire, I think like is going to be really neat. I think she's a great plot device. I really hope that this whole like Cory not having her powers is really just some sort of like play towards her not knowing where she belongs. Yeah. And I hope it's a mental thing and not being caused by some stupid force, because that just seems cheap.
Yeah. I hope so too. And I hope that all of season 3 is about her being a complete badass and wiping everyone out. Or all like the other where's she come from again? What's
Tamarin.
Tamarin, like Tamarinians. Mm-hmm. Wiping them all out when they come get her, right? Or when they come fight her. But so there's that. Now,
so then there's Aqualad.
Yeah, so I was going to say, let's get into the new ones, and I'll go over the very brief Aqualad. There was that. He was such a shame. He was a good character.
Yeah, his costume was great. Personality was fantastic.
Right?
Loved Donna. And when he died, I was just like, he's gonna die. Like, why isn't he around? Why is everyone not talking about him? Why has he never been mentioned? You knew he was dead, right? Like, just knowing. And his moment of death was great. It was well done. It was impactful, and it clearly illustrates or speaks to the current emotional state of some of the other characters. So I
basically all the original Titans. Yeah.
So then after him, you got Jericho.
Yep.
Who is Deathstroke's son. And so they they find out that he's Deathstroke's son. They try to entice him into the fold. Turns out he's got powers, and he ends up dying to Deathstroke, trying to save Dick.
And he's in Deathstroke.
So spoiler alert, he ends up using his ability to insert himself into Deathstroke's mind.
Yeah.
Which was like another one of those like only redeeming scenes in the prison scene.
Exactly. Yeah, that was the whole like realizing what's going on thing. He writes it on the wall, right?
Yeah.
That was awesome. That was actually very cool.
Yeah, but I thought his character was cool.
It took me a second to like grasp it, because you see like the sort of flashbacks when he's thinking of when he was talking to Deathstroke in his house.
As soon as his finger was like signing, I was just like, no fucking way.
Yeah, and it was like, boom. Yeah. Mind blown.
Yeah, it was good.
That was well set up. The rest of that episode was not good. So,
Agreed.
Okay, well, we glossed over Jericho. We'll go into his sister,
Rose.
Ravager. Yeah.
Yeah. So at first I was like, well, I'm not sure how I feel about her. She's kind of, teeny
bopper.
Yeah, but like she's totally a brat, and
it's got all that angst.
But then when she glommed on to Jason, I was like, now that's a match made in heaven.
Oh yeah,
right? Like that's amazing.
Ravager and future Red Hood, right?
What could go wrong? What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
So I thought that was really good, and especially and her having all the powers and abilities, her realizing that she's home with the Titans is awesome, and I'm excited to see more of her next season.
They did a lot of the graphic stuff that they did in Heroes for Claire. Like the whole like twitching, like spinning your leg around or your foot around and the arm around thing. Like that was just gross.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, I thought that was really, really well done, and it caused like some really neat moments of character development too, right? Like when Rachel lost her mind and snapped her back, and then she comes back. So like that was cool. Yeah. So Jason almost died. So okay. So can we talk about this for a minute?
Sure.
Did you know that there was an online poll?
Okay.
At the end of the episode where Jason gets thrown out the window.
Oh, does he die and become quote unquote
There was a poll in the week in between that said, "Do you want Jason to live or die?"
Seriously? Was that from the show?
Yep.
Oh my god, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Now, I am really on board with the fact that they did that because it's so on flavor with his character. What I'm pissed off about is that the results didn't matter. Because there is zero chance that they filmed 2 full seasons of that show just in case.
No way.
Right? Zero chance.
Yeah.
So, So, like, don't do that unless you mean it.
Exactly.
I get it, but don't do that unless you mean it. So I like that he kind of came back. He was a little bit kind of fucked up, and Deathstroke kind of had his way with him and all that sort of stuff. And it was neat. I liked a lot of where they went with him, and I think that he saw just enough to, I think, maybe beyond the Red Hood path, I think.
Right. So speaking of that, now if we're going to go sort of tinfoil hatty, we know how Red Hood becomes Red Hood in the comics and most of the animated stuff.
Yep.
And clearly they've done away with Joker here, right?
Yep.
So unless they're going to throw a curveball at us and introduce Joker in the next one. But I don't think so. So, and many people were saying he's going to die to Deathstroke, but Deathstroke's no longer in the picture either.
Correct.
So is he just going to go all emo and then just come back as Red Hood? Is that what's going to happen? Because that would be the worst.
Yeah, I agree. Now, the only other thing that we have seen, though, and this you're going to love this because I'm doing the podcast thing. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. The only other thing that could possibly happen is maybe he actually, when he's running away from the Titans, gets kidnapped by, I don't know, a private foundation that prides itself, Cadmus? and maybe they kind of turn him into a weapon, right? And then unleash him. So there's that they could do. But we'll see what happens with him. I think that there's like lots of potential. Doing. Maybe, yeah, I mean, maybe it's not his directly. Maybe it's just somebody there that's kind of like taking agency or something. So that's neat. But what I really liked this season, one of the characters I just loved because I love him in in all the shows is Connor. There. Connor's so good.
You went to Connor before the next person I was thinking. Okay, all right. I was going to go to Connor right after the next person, but yeah, sure.
Connor's so good.
Let's do Connor. I do like the actor that they casted. He was perfect for Connor.
Yes, like just jacked but youthful enough.
Exactly.
That he had the naivete. I was just like,
he has the Young Justice look. That's what I thought. Like he looks like a real life Young Justice.
Yep.
Now where's Miss Martian? All right, give me Miss Martian.
Sign me up. Right? It's all we're missing. But no, I really liked him. I really liked Crypto as well. I thought that was wild.
Crypto was
the fact that the two of them were together, I think was just like fucking wild.
Yeah. Like they won over probably the majority of Canadians and Torontonians, especially because everyone has dogs.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
But no, I really liked his storyline as well. I liked how the Titans had to kind of come together and save him after he saved one of their own. Like I really liked that whole the meet cute that was kind of set up by that, and I felt like it was not stretched or overdone. And I'll talk a little bit more about him in a second. But who was the other new character that you want to talk about?
Joyra Mormont.
Oh, Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, Batman.
Okay, go
ahead. But basically, it wasn't Batman at all. It was just Bruce Wayne the whole time. But are you as impressed as I am at his non-British accent?
Yes. Yeah, so. I actually think that he makes a really good older Bruce Wayne.
Yep.
And until I see Crisis next week with Kevin Conroy doing the older Batman Beyond Bruce Wayne.
That's going to be another episode of this.
Yeah. I'm totally down. For as soon as that's done, I'm your Huckleberry. Yeah. But I think that overall, I think he did a really good job playing Bruce Wayne. He's kind of gruff enough, but at the same time, caring enough, aloofly caring. I really did enjoy his portrayal. I would never believe for a second that he was Batman.
Yeah, that's the thing about Bruce Wayne that I found interesting, and they didn't force it too much on his character. What's his name? Ian Glenn, right? That's his name. Mm-hmm. So what they didn't force on him was the whole dark hair thing. They let him keep his blonde hair, or what's left of the blonde, at least. Mm-hmm. But I mean, they didn't force it to the point where it would have looked unnatural. They said, "This is who you are. Let's keep this look, and Bruce Wayne's going to be blonde now." Mm-hmm. Right? It's kind of like the whole Daniel Craig becoming James Bond thing. That's what I kind of felt.
Yeah. So and I think that it added to his credibility and his likability. I think his humanity.
Right. That's right. So at the end of the day, I think that he was a great Bruce Wayne. Mm-hmm. What he brought to the table. The question is, are they going to dress him up? I don't think so. They're probably just going to leave him like that. Now, my question is if they bring in other Justice Leaguers, because they've been hinting at Superman a lot. They've been hinting at, now that we have Superboy, and they've also talked about Lex Luthor, that there's a very good chance that both of those characters show up, but probably in sort of non-superhero form, right? So I'm going to think Clark Kent would show up just to make a cameo, talk to people a little bit, and then, F off somewhere and do his Superman thing and let the Titans deal with their stuff. Now where is this season going? Let's get to that part. So, all right, let's wrap up the...
No, we do have to talk about the elephant in the room.
Which one was that? Okay.
Yeah. So, I really liked Connor. I really liked the last battle, right?
You just like the end of that.
I really liked how they were fighting each other. You get the whole Donna and Connor throwing down, and that was fucking awesome. I just thought everything about that was just dripping epic superhero-ness, and I was all here for it, right?
And even the whole Rachel and Gar sub-scene too.
Yes, exactly. The whole thing, it was I could have easily seen it in pains on paper, right?
Right, exactly.
And even and I'm okay with the whole Rachel, Dick, Connor thing, that whole, and Donna, the how are we going to free Connor's mind? I get that. I get that that's probably the only way they realistically had to try to solve that problem, and I'm okay with it. It was handled fine. It wasn't too overdone.
Yeah.
And then he goes friggin' bonkers and chases down Mercy. I was all here for it. I think that was the best way you could possibly end it, and that's where it should have ended. Mm-hmm. Instead, spoiler alert, big red fat spoiler alert. Instead, what happened was Dove goes to help a little kid return her dolly or whatever, and then all of a sudden this huge, maybe it's the support arm of a Ferris wheel arbitrarily, right? Mm-hmm. It's starting to fall down, that was damaged during the battle, and starts to fall down, threatening to crush Dove and these kids and moms and parents and stuff. And Donna runs over and in true Wonder Girl fashion, right? Just catches it and holds it. And it's just everybody move. And it was I was just yes, this is such a great moment. Oh, Donna, you're the best. And then they proceed to use the vehicle of the electricity that was coming through the Ferris wheel support was ultimately the source of Donna's death.
She gets electrocuted to death, which doesn't even make sense.
They killed off easily one of the top 3 characters in the entire show via electricity when she is supposed to be damn near invulnerable.
Yeah.
In the most low impact possible way.
Yeah. That was just ugh. But you know what's going to happen though? Now, going from that piece of crap scene.
Yeah, so then you get this neat, everyone's mourning, right? And you get this great send-off at the airport where they're taking the body to the mascara, and Rachel decides, you know what, the way my powers are right now, I'm the only one that might be able to help her. Plus maybe who knows what I'll learn over there. And so she decides to go with the Amazon's Tooth and Mascara. And I think that's awesome. So who knows what's going to happen when she comes back? And yes, historically, there's some really neat stuff about Donna Troy being dead and coming back to life.
Right. Now, here's the other thing, though. Because Raven is who she is, and she's in Themyscira, in a quote-unquote holy place, basically, that would also help, one, enhance her powers, but then she also has the power of almost pseudo-life and death.
Yeah.
So Rachel could be the vehicle for Donna Troy to quote-unquote be resurrected.
And if they do that, I'll forgive them.
Right? So that's what I think that they're going to build it up to. They're going to let... They kind of dropped the ball and brought it down hard with that scene, but they want to like set it up for like a triumphant oomph in season 3, and everyone's just gonna like jump out of their chairs. That's what I expect.
And if they do that, I'm okay. I'm cool with that. I'll forgive all your trespasses and I'll give you another point on your season. But like, you can have your 7.5 in the meantime.
Yeah, so, for now, right?
Yeah.
So that is what it is. Who do you expect they bring into the fold for season 3 then? Because we've known like who came in and who was out. Do we think Jason's coming back for season 3 as Red Hood or even as Robin? Or just Jason?
So here's the thing. Here's the problem that I have with where we're going to season 3 is I actually don't have an answer for you until the end of next week.
Okay. Why next week?
Well, apparently the Titans from this series are actually included in cameos in Crisis.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
That is what I read. Now, that may just be in like, if you can imagine a travel through the multiverse with a million of different worlds and possibilities and glimpses, almost like on rotating mirrors, whatever, right? I'm sure that's all it is.
Okay.
But depending on what the actual outcome is as a result of the CW crisis, because I kind of get the feeling that they're going to start merging worlds.
Okay.
Who knows what the end result's going to be? If they decide to bite off a really big one and just say, you know what, Arrowverse and the rest of the DC EU is all canon together, that's a big bombshell. It changes everything.
That'd be so weird, though. It's like networks crossing too. It's CW and DC Universe crossing.
Oh, I get it. You're not wrong, but it's so who knows, right? I mean, we're seeing it. I mean, Marvel is starting to do it too, but like Marvel's at this whole other thing right now. Like Feige is doing something else that's completely. I can't even talk about that right now.
I mean, if we're gonna talk for like crazy crossovers, I would love to see Krypton be brought into the fold.
Yeah, and that might be it, right? And you never know. There's been lots of talk about the actor that was playing Loki getting his own thing. So it's tough to say, right? But I think that the crisis is going to dictate a lot of sort of what happens in the future and what directions they choose to go in. Because how that gets received is going to impact, I think, a lot of future decisions from the DC standpoint. But assuming it has its own separate continuum and they stay completely divided, then obviously I want to see the Starfire bit come. I don't know if I really need to see anyone else join the team. I'd be happy to see some more, see another league member, see a couple league members. Like I'd love to see like a Gal Gadot,
Wonder Woman,
like a cameo in Themyscira while they're there, even if it's just like, hey, she'll be fine or something. Like it doesn't have to be very long. Like I would love to see those types of cameos happening.
Yeah. Now, in terms of new like Titans, for example, the couple of characters I feel like could be added to the cast will definitely strengthen the team, especially give it either like a Titan, like an actual Teen Titans type of feel, or give it a Young Justice feel. Is one Miss Martian, so that'll pair well with Connor.
Yep.
And the other one,
they got to bring Cyborg over from Doom Patrol, right?
Well, Cyborg's probably going to make cameos when Doom Patrol starts up again, right? So that's what I'm figuring what's going to happen. Like Titans are probably going to cross over there, and they're going to cross over there. So that's going to happen. So Cyborg's going to come back in and out. Blue Beetle, that was the other one I was thinking of. Jaime Reyes. So Jaime will probably
never been a fan. Never been a fan.
It's because of the game.
Has nothing to do with DCL as a game. I actually really liked Jaime in Young Justice, the TV show.
Yeah.
But I
not
felt,
as a Titan.
I feel like he's too young.
I see what you mean. He has that sort of immaturity. So when the Titans are slowly maturing. So this would have been the season to bring him in and have him mature.
Potentially.
Yeah.
But even then, I think the other side of that is budget too, right?
Yeah, for sure. So the other question is now the quote unquote adults who are left there, right? Because one has died off, right? Now we're left with a few picking up, the slack here. Are they going to bring in other adults, or they're going to bring in other Justice Leaguers to help out? Like Bruce Wayne might do some cameos again, but are they going to bring in other guys like Black Canary, for example, is a mentor to Titans. Cyborg, as he grows up and becomes an adult, becomes a mentor too. So are we going to see any more quote unquote mentors to the Titans?
That's a good question.
Right? Like if I see Miss Martian show up, then Martian Manhunter wouldn't be far off either, for example.
Yeah.
So yeah. And if they did a crossover with the CW, that wouldn't be hard to do. And they're all in Canada. They're all either in Vancouver and Toronto. Just ship them over to the coast, right?
And by the way, like that. So the fact that Titans films here is like one of the only reasons why I think that it actually could happen. Because the studios aren't that far off.
Right. So that's like why this whole rumored super crossover could actually happen.
Yeah, it could become a thing. Because, there are some characters, right? Only in Canada. There are a lot of characters in the Arrowverse, which I think actually would translate well over. I think you're right. I think John Jones is one of them. I think David Haywood or Harewood. Anyways, Harewood does a great job, I think, of playing John. And they already have a Miss Martian on there as well. And she's sort of around the right age. Right. That would fit in there. So I think that's fine. I'm interested to see what they do. I know that Tyler Hoechlin is getting he and the girl that plays Lois are getting their own like updated Lois and Clark.
Yeah, I heard about that too, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah,
like, I'm not expecting Dean Cain, Terry Hatcher level because that was more sitcom-y, more like 90s. But I would love to see sort of like an homage to that. That would be great.
Yeah.
So
and he does a good job, I think. He's a sort of like today's Superman. What I cannot wait to see, actually, though, after everything that I've read, and we're like, I can't wait. Apparently, everything that I've read says that everyone on set just thinks like they're in shock and awe watching Brandon Routh don that costume
because he was the Superman Returns, right?
Yeah.
So he literally is Superman returning, but he's going to be, I'm guessing, Kingdom Come Superman, right?
Yeah, and they were like, it's so surreal to watch him like walk around. It's like you see him walk around in his Atom costume, and you see him walk around as Ray Palmer, but then when you see him dressed up as Superman, standing 6'6" like a brick shithouse in that iconic costume, and it's just apparently the way he carries himself. Even like he's always standing with his hands on his hips. He always has his hands on his hips, which
he's always Superman.
It's always classic Superman pose. So I can't wait to see it. I'm super excited.
And that was the reason why. Now a lot of people disagree with me on this, and it's not just because I'm a Superman fan, but this is the reason why Superman Returns is one of my favorite Superman movies. Right? It has a bad script. That's not Brandon Routh's fault, but he was a good Superman. So
he was fine. I agree with you. I am very excited to see him return. Pardon the pun. To the role.
Did you hear about the cameos with Tom Welling showing up too?
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. I wonder if he's gonna play a Superman or if he's just gonna do like a random cameo.
Well, so it's actually him and Erica Durance. So they're both coming.
Oh wait, she's Lois, right? Erica
Correct.
Durance is Lois.
Yeah. So it may be like a.
Wait a minute. Wasn't Erica Durance also Supergirl's mother?
Yes.
That's all. Okay. Unless she's reprising that role.
No. Wasn't that Terry Hatcher that played her mom?
Terry Hatcher was Mon-El's mom.
Oh, right. That's right. I knew they both played. Erica Durance is definitely her mom. Yeah.
And what's his name? The guy from Hercules, and also
Kevin Sorbo.
Kevin Sorbo is the king.
That was good. that was really good. Yeah.
I was expecting Xena to pop out somewhere.
Right?
edit this.
It's like the
We're getting
reporter.
way off track.
I know. It's fine.
This is probably going to be either next month or this end of this month or January's Watchtower. We're going to go over Crisis. That's what we're going to do. All right,
dude. I'm in to do it just before Christmas. We can find time. If you can find time, we can make it happen.
It's going to be hard for me. My wife
put it up whenever.
My wife is coming up, or my wife is coming back this weekend, and then we're gonna move soon, so it's gonna be really hectic. So
all right.
And holidays, so yeah.
Okay,
we'll see.
So let's come back for Crisis. That's amazing. So wrap it up. You were a 7 on the series. On the season. I was a 7.5. I could have been an easy 8.5 by cutting an episode and not killing Donna.
Mm-hmm.
The way they did anyway. But it is what it is. So yeah. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the next one. And is it worth the time investment? Absolutely.
Yep. Just brace yourself for some like really slow parts. So okay, on the spot, favorite character and worst character in this season. Worst character is easy.
Worst character is easy.
Well, who do you think?
Oh, it's Hawk. He's terrible.
Yeah, he's a douche.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah, you're right. I'm like, no, that is easy. You're right. That is easy. Yeah. Best character is a toss-up for me between Donna and Connor. In terms of just they were both so well done. Like mm-hmm. I have a holdover for Donna. I think she was the best part of season 1. Mm-hmm. And the fact that she kind of took that and jacked that up, she mm-hmm. was a real focus this season. And I really like the journey that I went on with her. I'm just so disappointed at the ending. You know, she was badass in her super suit, and she was great. And Connor was just so good. He may quickly become my favorite come season 3.
I mean, I think your comments are valid, and I probably would think the same too. But you know, you're wrong, and I hate you. So, but
sure, totally fine.
Best character, obviously not close, is Crypto.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. He was probably more useful than half of the other Titans.
Obviously. I mean, he turned a rocket around. What else do you need? He had the laser eyes. He had the laser eyes before Connor did.
Oh, the laser eyes are so good.
All right, anyways. So we'll wrap it up there. So for the next Watchtower, we'll probably have it. I'm guessing... I'm going to say either we're going to record it this month or in January after we've done watching it. Hopefully, the sooner the better. That was still fresh in our minds. And just look forward to that, guys. So if you guys like the show, if you like what we're doing here, consider becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/WROL broadcasts. And that's it. Have a good night, guys.
Bye.
Hey, everyone. It's Tootitron. Thanks for listening to WROL Broadcasts. If you like the show, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/WROL broadcasts. So apparently, DP over here is popping a squat in his parents' basement. Now, DP, I know you just came from some foreign land and everything, but here in North America, living in your parents' basement is unacceptable behavior. That's why I live in my parents' upstairs bedroom. Get on my level, bro.